Take notice. Proclamation judicial, not a Mason official. Temple head on a swivel, see rights are not civil. Jurisdiction challenge, railroaded acquittal. Ex parte, no trial, dismissal is artificial. Straw man is not a lawman, but ends legis. In color of courts, more racket than tennis. Where colored man has no rights. And sick of this more thing, Jamal and Black Knight. Robin Hood is Zine, not Cornish, but Moorish American. Stand on squares, surging adrenaline. Take notice, for the cross with a fez on. Your favorite rapper has a dress on and leave press-ons. Take notice, you got hex and lost focus. While I see with eyes behind my head like Jokic. Are you listening or under hypnosis? Is intelligence overpowered by your emotions? Take notice, crack team shots give blood clots. Know what the Gen Z zombie culture. No Thanksgiving eating thighs of turkey vultures. Never see slaves, only black or more sculpture. Take notice. Proclamation judicial, not a Mason official. Temple head on a swivel, see rights are not civil. Jurisdiction challenge, railroaded acquittal. Ex parte, no trial, dismissal is artificial. Straw man is not a lawman, but ends legis. In color of courts, more racket than tennis. Where colored man has no rights. And sick of this more thing, Jamal and Black Knight. Robin Hood is Zine, not Cornish, but Moorish American. Stand on squares, surging adrenaline. Take notice, for the cross with a fez on. Your favorite rapper has a dress on and leave press-ons. Take notice, you got hex and lost focus. While I see with eyes behind my head like Jokic. Are you listening or under hypnosis? Is intelligence overpowered by your emotions? Take notice, crack team shots give blood clots. Know what the Gen Z zombie culture. No Thanksgiving eating thighs of turkey vultures. Never see slaves, only black or more sculptures. Take notice, hailstorms and swarms locusts. When affirming, no claps, hands, palms open. That man's with hugs, brotherly love, holy covenant. Take notice, Moorish government, unconscious Moors used to meet quotas. Chicago congressman won from the Moorish voters. Elders took notice to what Drew Ali said. Oscar Bay next to the prophet cause the priest is dead. Bay Anderson on his right, Moorish hijab. Right to bear arm, Moors might wear a niqab. Law and order mind, traitors drawing quarter time. Cutting off hands and ears for committing a crime. Vegan beef with dirty Moors is not a family feud. Families fight, one's wrong, have perception skewed. Spiritual altitude, lower self-subdued. No sucrose drinks or European poison foods. Holistic versus my foe is alkalines. Pastor only speaking tongues from altar wines. For treason they all face the firing line. Most bystander not preventing the crime. Society invites it, then rewrites it. If a battle can't be won, don't fight it. Not saying see corruption and be silent, be defiant. Never punish all the clever corporate tyrants. Take notice. Politicians touch their own children. Yours get shot up and in the news for causing killings. Calling them black translates to living in death. Trans march for rights with their BIPOC breath. Take notice. Sex ed taught in daycare. False evidence appearing real is how you say fear. Claim you're woke but still you're dead and sleeping. Can't you see youth popping pills for the thrill seeking? Thinking they can fly off balconies leaping. One's facelift like weekend. Too much competing. Trying to be someone else. Won't be themselves. Skinny jeans got their manhood. Short like elves. Weaves and eyelashes puckering lips and tongues out. Should be enough to have dad's guns out. Take notice. We sit back and watch it happen. He's in extensions, lap dancing devils while rapping. She's in every video, twerking, ass slapping. Y'all are Victor and Dre and shot, dildo strapping. I see what they're trying, I took notice. I see their motives as they're bringing 12 roses. Bullets are used on blacks now, not fire hoses. Necrophiliacs have bodies before it decomposes. Take notice. Said black means death, but y'all blind and deaf and can't read truth you can't find. Mitch Drew Ali lessons, waiting for Jesus. Teaching lies is competence, nigga doesn't mean niggas. More doesn't mean black, it means more bite. And high priest of a new, holding the marvelous light. 7 orbs in a palm. We are ancients returned from the line of roots. Skin looks like brass burned. Hair looks like Zoroaster, face of an Olmec. Sundial is my watch, FOH with your Rolex. Major not minority, no clicking heels like Dorothy. Flames on a straw man, no joining their sorority. Great Seal is not Illuminati but Moorish. Disrespect Moors and we might get boorish. We're in our own land fam, don't call me a tourist. I use the floor more, fine tuning my auras. Let them know that I'm back in the booth. Back for the youth, words coming out our mouth is the truth. Let them know that you're back in the booth. Back for the youth, words coming out our mouth is the truth. Let them know that I'm back in the booth. Back for the youth, words coming out our mouth is the truth. Let them know that you're back in the booth. Back for the youth, words coming out our mouth is the truth.
Get your foot up off my ottoman. Empire built for an ottoman. Never mix me up for them ottoman. I'm writing with an iron pen. Good life and not a gym. Born in an empire, not in sin. Moorish American, round table, Moorish ordering. I am feminine and masculine.
Said black means death, but y'all blind and deaf and can't read truth you can't find. Mitch Drew Ali lessons, waiting for Jesus. Teaching lies is competence, nigga doesn't mean niggas. More doesn't mean black, it means more bite. And high priest of a new, holding the marvelous light. 7 orbs in our palm, we are ancients returned from the line of roots. Skin looks like brass burned. Hair looks like Zoroaster, face of an Olmec. Sundial is my watch, FOH with your Rolex. Major not minority, no clicking heels like Dorothy. Flames on a straw man, no joining their sorority. Great Seal is not Illuminati but Moorish. Disrespect Moors and we might get boorish. We're in our own land fam, don't call me a tourist. I use the floor more, fine tuning my auras. Let them know that I'm back in the booth. Back for the youth, words coming out our mouth is the truth. Let them know that you're back in the booth. Back for the youth, words coming out our mouth is the truth. Let them know that I'm back in the booth. Back for the youth, words coming out our mouth is the truth. Let them know that you're back in the booth. Back for the youth, words coming out our mouth is the truth.
Get your foot up off my ottoman. Empire built for an ottoman. Never mix me up for them ottoman. I'm writing with an iron pen. Good life and not a gym. Born in an empire, not in sin. Moorish American, round table, Moorish ordering. I am feminine and masculine. Principle, rights inalienable. So I'm able. Now Cain wants to kill me. Biblical. My brother who pretends to be brotherly. Try to put me back in slavery. Confederate flags under my cherry tree. Washington cut it down, but Washington is still in me. Moors, yo, I speak the tongue, uplift the blind, the deaf, the dumb, and everything is mine, use some. Legislative act, municipal outcomes. Animal farm, I see the reruns. Nation never cared for a president. Judo in a turban, that's evident. Major not minor, that's permanent.
Let them know that I'm back in the booth. Back for the youth, words coming out our mouth is the truth. Let them know that you're back in the booth. Back for the youth, words coming out our mouth is the truth. Let them know that I'm back in the booth. Back for the youth, words coming out our mouth is the truth. Let them know that you're back in the booth. Back for the youth, words coming out our mouth is the truth.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, they ahead of my born day. Independence and law make civil little a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Bass, mix it with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets told me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm sorbet, rapping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, deja vu.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes civil little a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I rob bass, mix it with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets told me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm sorbet, rapping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, deja vu, Roman J. Israel. Had no but I lay in plain sight, but people still can't see it. So the snake still showing up, stake still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for life, the book of Genesis. Astroplane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finishing.
Moorish key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost and metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Facts slap a dirty more or a Drew Ali critic. Calling them Thomas or Walter and get your face caved. Or cut like a close shave. Drowned in my brain waves, squash my heat waves. Activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini. Selassie I in exile. Reptile in Genesis, niggas appearing real. All I see is false evidence. Gay or feminists, stomped on by elephants. Won't like no prejudice, but want Moorish benefits. When you feel the cold magnetic resonance. Apis horns of the sacred book called Maleficent. Great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness. No pestilence, ace all the testaments. Tap into remembrance, never to forget again. Use energy right, not put spell effects on men. Wandering the earth plane with no they live shades. Keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades. Not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets. Holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday. War ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
In December 1955, at the Holt Street Baptist Church, Martin Luther King Jr. made a speech that he intended, he later said, to be militant enough to keep my people aroused to positive actions, yet moderate enough to keep this fervour within controllable and Christian bounds. This was a balance he would strike again and again over the coming years, and he did it by reminding his audience that the black freedom struggle was no more than a plea to be given what they had been promised.
If we are wrong, the Supreme Court of this nation is wrong. If we are wrong, the Constitution of the United States is wrong. If we are wrong, God Almighty is wrong.
When King spoke of the Constitution of the United States, he wasn't referring to the document written by bewigged gentlemen, farmers and lawyers in the aftermath of the Revolution. He was referring to an amendment to that Constitution, passed in very different circumstances in the aftermath of the American Civil War. That amendment, the 14th, was passed by the Congress of the United States in 1866 and ratified in 1868, and without it, the course of the civil rights movement would have been dramatically different. The original Constitution didn't define citizenship, nor did it give any guarantees of equality. But the 14th Amendment enabled any group of Americans to turn to the federal government if they faced discrimination, and gave them the legal tools to demand redress.
Very interesting that when you do your research on Dr. King, people talking all this civil rights stuff, you have to kind of ask some questions because certain things aren't really adding up. This is MLK Day and everything in honor of MLK today. How about let's talk about some MLK for all you traitors out there. All you Negro black colored traitors out there who want to play around Like everybody didn't know what was up, even though they were Christian, Muslim, whatever. This is Dr. King in his letter from Birmingham jail to all the nigger followers, right? All the supporters. We're gonna be on the bridge with you and all that BS. Marching up and down the place. People still marching up and down the place today. Still. And not getting rights. And still don't get it. Still want to play civil rights games when that's not where the leaders were. That's not where the leaders were in their mindset. Because if we check let's just see what he's saying. You should have read it by now. If you didn't read it yet, then we'll read it for you. We will reach the goal of freedom in Birmingham and all over the nation, because the goal of America is freedom. Abused and scorned, though we may be, our destiny is tied up with the destiny of America. Before the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth, we were here. Before the pen of Jefferson scratched across the pages of the history the majestic word of the Declaration of Independence, we were here. What's he telling you? How come they don't tell you this part during Black History Month? If you were here before the Europeans, obviously you're indigenous. Obviously. If you're here before the Pilgrims landed in Plymouth, obviously you have to be indigenous to here, because Dr. Martin Luther King looks just like you. You say you're a black guy. But that's not what he said. He said you were here before the Pilgrims. So if he knows that the goal all over this nation is freedom, and then we're going to go, so the goal is freedom, right? Okay. And then we're going to go to Noble Drew Ali and Divine Constitution, and he's telling Moors that you're not Negro, colored folk, black people, and Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. Hold on a second. And then we go to other quotes of him. And he's talking about Constitution and Declaration of Independence and all that. He's not talking about Civil Rights Acts and all that. He's talking about sacred obligations to America. Where do you think he got that from? There was nobody else talking about anybody's sacred obligation to the citizenship other than Noble Drew Ali in the 20s. Because when you go back and check again, Noble Drew Ali, then the word Negro deludes in the Latin language to the word nigger. The same as the word colored deludes to anything that is painted, varnished, and dyed. Too much. The word Negro deludes in the Latin language to the word nigger. The same way Negro deludes to nigger, the same way colored deludes to anything that's painted, varnished, or dyed. And if you as a human being can't be painted or varnished or dyed, obviously you're not colored. You can't be colored. Someone dye you to be the color that you are? They didn't dye you? Okay. And every nation must bear a national descent name of their forefathers, because honoring thy fathers and thy mothers, your days will be lengthened upon the earth. Your days will be lengthened upon this earth once you honor your foremothers and forefathers. That's all you have to do. Honor your foremothers and forefathers. These names have never been recognized by any true American citizen of this day. If there's true American citizens, that means there's fake ones too, right? So we're not talking about the fake ones when we're talking about what Noble Drew Ali brought. Because truth is one of the principles of the Moors. So we have no reason to lie, to play you and all that stuff, to tell you something that's not factual. But we already know what's up. We're not confused. We're not the zombies. We're not the conscious zombies, the Hebrew zombies, the Black Power zombies, the Egyptologist zombies, the yoga zombies. We're not them. We're Moors. We have free national names and national descent. And like some Moors will tell you, national ascent. Because this is divine and national. And Noble Drew Ali laid all of this foundation down that everybody else came and built on it, but the dumb public were listening to the traitors around the people who brought them their salvation, instead of listening to the people who brought them their salvation. They didn't listen to Abernathy, and they want to listen to Sharpton, and they want to listen to all these people. Messy Jesse and all these people. They want to listen to them. They don't want to hear what King's saying. They're not hearing him. They're hearing the traitors that were around King. King's saying the same thing that Noble Drew Ali was telling these people in the 20s. Through your free national name, you are known and recognized by all nations of the earth. And not only by all nations of the earth, but also in the same nation where you domicile, where you at. Wherever you're at, there should be no argument when you say your free national name. The 14th and 15th Amendments brought about the North and South in unit, placing the Southerners, who were at that time without power, with the constitutional body of power. So the 14th and 15th Amendment only came about because they didn't have anything to do with their property. Who were so-called Negro, black, and colored, that Noble Drew Ali told you that you're not that. So when they're lying to you and telling you Dr. King was some 14th Amendment, no, he wasn't. Because he told you you've been here before the Pilgrims. And if you were here before the Pilgrims, that means you're indigenous. You're not a black guy as far as a slave ship. But he's a Mason, so he has to talk in code because he doesn't want to give it up. And they still shot him in the face because he gave up the goods. And everybody on the balcony is laughing, and he's the only one looking at the shooter. Go back and look at the balcony picture. And ask yourself, why is he gripping the handrail? Like he sees something over there while everybody around him, all the sellouts, are laughing. Go check the picture. We don't got time for that today. But you go check the picture and ask yourself, why is he gripping the handrail and looking over there like he sees the bullet coming? At that point, it was too late. And then people became millionaires because of his death. Guess what? Those are the ones who you've been listening to telling you all this civil rights BS, why you're getting murdered in the street right now. Because of the same 14th Amendment stuff. Do you think that because you don't want to be yourself, somebody can make you a citizen? No, they can't. If you don't want to be yourself, then you're going to be a ward. You're going to be property. The same thing that Noble Drew Ali told you that you're not. Negro, black, colored, Ethiopian, which includes Africa, because everybody knows Africa was once known as Ethiopia. So he covered all the bases. You're none of the fictions. And at that time, 1865, the free national constitutional law that was enforced since 1774 declared all men equal and free. And if all men are declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since that constitution has never been changed, there's no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendment for the salvation of the people. You get how you played yourself? Listening to the traitors instead of listening to what the Mason said? You wanted to listen to what the Christian said. That's your problem. He wasn't Christian. He was Freemason. He had knowledge of what United States of America is, what type of government is supposed to be going on here, and that he was here before that. Why do you think the other... Think about it, right? Think about it. Martin and Malcolm were boys. They knew each other. King is talking about all this, keep the people inspired but not make them be docile. Because he's in the order. Elijah Muhammad and all them are Masons too. But they became all that after. Because all of these people were supposed to be on some more science and telling you about your nationality and birthrights. Telling you about your history here, not some slave stuff. Not some black guy you don't know who you are and all that stuff. That's not who we were. If we were the indigenous people here, on this side, then all of a sudden, these Negro black people come out of nowhere, that they came over here on a slave ship. And then you talk to anybody in the world, they're going to tell you that story is not there. They don't know about Europeans taking Africans across Atlantic Oceans and all that. That's not in their history. That doesn't exist in their history. They don't know that story. That's a fabrication of history that everybody who is an Aboriginal, Indigenous Moor of the Americas fell into. And they fell into that because of their traitor leaders who had this information. That if the Constitution says all men are free and equal, then why do you need civil rights for? What do you need that for? For what? You're a man, right? Yeah. Okay, I'm free. You're free and equal. So what's the problem? Well, these guys over here, they're racist and they keep shooting us in the street. And people been playing games with you, not letting you know. Not letting you know. Right? Now listen to how heavy this is, right? Our only hope today lies in our ability to recapture the revolutionary spirit and go out into someone's hostile world, declaring eternal hostility to poverty, racism, and militarism. This sound like Christian preacher guy to you? This sound like Christian preacher guy? With this powerful commitment, we shall boldly challenge the status quo and unjust mores, and thereby speed the day when every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low. The crooked shall be made straight, and the rough places plain. We go to Noble Drew Ali, the Holy Quran, and he's telling Moors, one day, as he was bringing forth the tools for the work, he said, "These tools remind me of the ones we handle in the workshop of the mind, where things were made of thought and were built up on character. We use the square to measure all our lines, to straighten out the crooked places of the way, and to make the corners of our conduct square. We use the compass to draw circles around our passions and desires, to keep them in bounds of righteousness. We use the axe to cut away the naughty, useless, ungainly parts and make their character symmetrical. We use the hammer to drive home the truth and pound it in until it is part of every part. We use the plane to smooth the rough, uneven surfaces of the joint, and block and board that go to build a temple for the truth. The chisel, the line, the plummet, and the saw all have their uses in the workshop of the mind. And then this ladder, with its trinity of steps, faith, hope, and love, on it we climb up to the dome of purity in life. And on the 12-step ladder, we ascend until we reach the pinnacle of that which life is spent to build the temple of perfected man. Hold on a second. That Martin Luther King there. With this powerful commitment, we shall boldly challenge the status quo and unjust mores. Is it mores, right? Mores right there. Oh. Unjust ones. This is the ones who are going with the status quo. This black BS. Every valley shall be exalted, Every mountain and hill shall be made low. The crooked shall be made straight. So what they try to do is make you, one, think that the Masonic aspect is connected to the Moorish aspect because you see relative things standing on the square, fezzes, crescents, stars, Arabic, Islamic. You say that, oh, this must be the same stuff. It's not the same stuff. Two, you don't know that all of your nigger, Negro, black, colored, whatever leaders were either a sorority guy, fraternity guy, or they were in the lodge. Prince Hall, Scottish Rite, whatever. And it appears that it's the same thing. It's not the same thing. The presentation that Noble Drew Ali standing on the square. So you have the sellouts. You have the sellouts, right? And this is secret societies unmasked. Secret societies unmasked. The Al-Mahdi guy. Same thing we're talking about with people with titles. You're chasing titles, people. But they're not letting you know what's going on. They're trying to play you, to have you give up your birthright. And this is the games that they play with Noble Drew Ali. To have you looking at the Masonic thing from some negative, go in the coffin, homosexual, whatever, when that's not Masonry. What are you talking about? Masonry deals with the tools in the workshop of the mind. There's no sexual anything. There's nothing evil. That's what Masonry is. Tools in the workshop of the mind. You're looking at Masonry as some stuff somebody told you. Some guy in some video told you. Yeah, they got the skull in there and Baphomet and oh my gosh, they're checkered floor and that means the dark world and the light world and all that. Why they spooking you? Why they spooking you with more science? But they're gonna tell you about ISIS put together her who was cut up by her brother and all that stuff. And then I spooked at that. How come you not spooked at that? Why they spooking you? Try to make it like the Masonic thing is some negative thing in the cavern of the, and here comes the vampires and they all have the Mason stuff on. That's not really what's going on. They're using Moorish science to rule the world. To the point where in secret they're going to dress up like Moors. Wear fezzes and turbans and all that, pretend that they're you because you want to be Negro, black, colored guy. You want to be Imam Isa guy. Talking crazy. And then you're looking at people getting 500 years and all that stuff. And it's not because they did something or whatever. They violated the prophet because they know what's up. If they know this much, they know what's up. Stop playing games. The messenger, Noble Drew Ali. As soon as you hear that, you have to say, who is this guy? Who are you, Imam Isa guy? Who are you? What do you mean the messenger, Noble Drew Ali? Even Europeans will say Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Who are you? Traitors. But that's why they get their 500 years in prison and stuff like that. Because they violated the prophet. Because they had all the tools necessary. And instead of them giving the people their stuff, they don't want to do that. They're going to play games. And not do it once, but do it twice. Not do it once, but do it twice. Putting out literature claiming Noble Drew Ali is not the prophet. Right. Noble Drew Ali told his followers that on Friday, December 18th, 1925, a star and crescent would appear in the sky as a sign from Allah that Islam was destined to rise in the West, and that there was an approaching reformer who would restore Islam to its pristine purity. I am the reformer of whom he spoke. I was raised up amongst you to show you the only way, the only true way of life, and to anoint you with the Holy Spirit and restore your soul. Noble Drew Ali was amongst those who opened the door to clear the way for my entry. I'm talking crazy. What are you talking about? These people violate. Same way they violate. How come? If he's not a Moor, how come somebody put the Moroccan flag on the hearse? You think he called himself Ali just because of some Nation of Islam BS? Who knew? Somebody knew what was up. Because why are they throwing Moroccan? How come every other flag's not on there? Find me some other flags that they threw on his stuff. He wasn't from Morocco over there. Why somebody put that? Why somebody put that there? Why they do that to Muhammad Ali? Why that? You know why? You know why sting like a bee? Flow like a butterfly, sting like a bee. You know why? Because he's defending mother. Mother's the nation. Moors already know what's up. They're the dummies who don't want to hear who don't want to hear what Moors are saying. Right? Just go look it up. Muhammad Ali funeral procession in Louisville, Kentucky. 2 hours, 24 minutes. Flag right there.
Malcolm X.
I think a lot of people are confused by the new Arabic name, El Hajj Malik El Shabazz.
I've always had the name on my passport, Malik El Shabazz.
No. How come they didn't tell you that part? I didn't tell you he's always that L? Could that be why he left? He found out that these people are full of BS. They were not Negro black colored. As soon as he starts saying that he's not Negro black colored, what he do? Go UN to go complain on U.S. and then he's dead. Had all the African leaders in his pocket. He was free national of over here. Because what he tell them? We ain't landing on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landing on us. Oh, the Plymouth Rock reference again and stuff like that. You know, I think you think maybe you missed something? I think you missed something. I really think you missed something. I think you missed something. So why are you lying and calling him Malcolm X for? Yeah. Malik El-Shabazz on the passport. Oh yeah, Malcolm X is the history. Black History Month. Malcolm X birthday, Malcolm X Day, Malcolm X Boulevard and all that BS. Liars. Why do you lie though? Oh yeah, to get you away from this Moorish thing. Because everybody was on it. All your favorites were on it. You go look it up. Khalid Muhammad was on it. He's on it. He knew he was a Moor. You knew he was a Moor. Martin was a Mason, so he was eventually going to get there. Especially if he's talking with Malik El-Shabazz and all that stuff. And the unified Christianity and Islam and all that, and a whole different thing. But they're going to tell you that part. They're going to tell you part, have you think that these were nigger black leaders and all that. These were Moors. Knew that they were that. They didn't tell you. Why? Because you're dumb. And he tells you too, to your face.
I only used it in the Muslim world. Well, Hajj is a title that is given to any Muslim who makes the pilgrimage to Mecca during the official Hajj season.
Well, will you now use Shabazz and drop X?
I'll probably continue to use Malcolm X and I'll probably use it as long as the situation that produced it exists.
No? As long as the situation that produced it exists, he'll keep doing the X BS with you. Obviously, the stuff's gonna carry on because people still don't get it. I came back with Malik L and they're still playing. They still call me Malcolm X. You're not gonna force them. You're not gonna force them to call him Malik El-Shabazz. He'll just go with you with your BS. And that's what got him murdered. How I'm not even going there. He knew what was up.
Connor.
What is your real name?
Malcolm X.
Is that your legal name?
As far as I'm concerned, it's my legal name.
Have you been to court to establish the
I didn't have to go to court to be called Murphy or Jones or Smith.
Remember, this is before Hajj. Just remember, this is before Hajj. This is when he was dumb nigger. And this is how much he knew when he was just a Nation of Islam nigger. With no nationality, stateless, just talking BS. His name is Malcolm X and all that BS. This is how much he knew. So how much you think the heads of this know? If he knows this much right here that he's going to say.
Excuse me for answering you this way.
That's
if
all right.
a Chinese person were to say his name was Patrick Murphy, you would look at him like he's insane, because Murphy is an Irish name, a European name, or the name that has a Caucasian or white background. And a yellow person, Chinese is a yellow man, and he has nothing to do or no connection whatsoever with the name Murphy. And if it doesn't look proper for a person who is yellow or Chinese to be walking around named Murphy or Jones or Johnson or Bunch or Powell, I think it would be just as improper for a black person or the so-called Negro in this country, as we're taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, to walk around with these names. And therefore he teaches us that during slavery, the same slave master who owned us put his last name on us to denote that we were his property.
Oh, hold on a second. Hold on a second. The divine constitution and bylaws sing with Noble Drew Ali again. Hold on a second. Know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders. Oh. So Elijah Muhammad and them are teaching him the same thing that Noble Drew Ali was teaching them with regard to these names? But then they're not going to give honors to the prophet. They're going to play games with you and talk about their guy is the man. When everybody's copying off Noble Drew Ali and not telling you about Noble Drew Ali. You know how criminal that is? You know how treasonous and traitorous it is? You know how unconstitutional it is? For an individual to know about Noble Drew Ali and his message and not tell you, and tell you about some other stuff. That's criminal. Right? This is the game they're playing with you. The game that they're going to continue to play. That's why we keep saying, for the three of you out there, who your circuitry in your brain is running properly still, you're still connected to your ancestors. Everything that we're talking about here should be making absolute sense to you and should be confirmation and affirmation that you're going where you're supposed to be going. Right? Remember MLK Day today, and you're never going to hear anybody of these people talk like this, but they say they honor him. Never hear them. You'll never hear them talk the way he was talking, the reference points that he was making. Why? Because they don't want you to know about Noble Drew Ali and the fact of our nationality and our birthrights. Once you know that, everything else is going to open up. You're getting so much information, you make your head spin. Because you pulled the plug in the stuff and forgot you were the water. Make your head spin. Because you thought this wasn't about you. There were some people over there called themselves Moors and they're in the temple and no, I ain't want somebody played you. Somebody played you. They've been lying. We've waited. It's Dr. King talking. We've waited for more than 340 years for our constitutional and God-given rights. Now, hold on a second. The God-given rights. Constitutional. Hold on a second. This sounds real familiar. Sounds real familiar. Sounds real familiar. I, the prophet, was prepared by the great God Allah to warn my people to repent from their sinful ways and go back to the state of mind of their forefathers' divine and national principles, that they will be law-abiders and receive their divine rights as citizen. Divine rights is God-given, right? If God gave you something, how somebody telling you don't have it? They're taking stuff that God gave you? And you don't see something wrong with that? Everything's cool? We're going to go shopping? You lost your birthright that God gave you, and you're going to go shop for stuff. In the snowstorm. When I talk about people who have to go out there because they're going to go work or whatever like that. They got to go. Like, talk about people who have nothing else to do but go get stuck in snow right now. Like, where are you going? They say they don't even have enough plows for the snow. Where are you going? No, but people don't want to go within. They don't want to face their demons. More science make you face your demons. More science make you sit in the house and realize that you've been a dumbass. You've been listening to these liars tell you about your black and orange and purple people and colored and all that. Your conditions suck. Roach cereal and all that. And you're not doing anything to fix that. You're not doing anything to fix it. Everything's cool. You're going to go pop some bottles and drive around in the Maseratis and all that. People eating road cereal. Your children in homes where they're getting molested. But life's good for these people. Life's great. They can tour the world at their people's expense. They can do their whatever at the people's based in the people's incompetence. Because remember, all these people know. They're just not telling you. And all of them know because they're either some type of Mason or whatever, or they're Boule. And all of them, they know. They choose not to tell you. They play black stuff with you forever. Once they get to keep their little handouts, whatever it is that they're getting. You have to recognize that it's been orchestrated for us to be in this position. Right? They haven't been telling you the truth about your leaders. Right? As you will notice on from the photograph on the next page, the messenger Noble Drew Ali's dress and mannerism were taken from Masonry and the ancient order of the mystic shrine. The messenger Noble Drew Ali was a Mason of a high degree as well as a Shriner. He took the teachings of Al-Islam from the Shriner and used it along with the teachings he learned from traveling to Egypt and came up with the concept of Al-Islam that stopped the entire nation. He showed the Nubians, Moors, that Al-Islam was the religion of their forefathers and the religion they should follow. Because the messenger Noble Drew Ali was a Mason of such high degree, it was only natural that the symbols of Masonry were so heavily incorporated into his teachings. The stance. First notice the position of the messenger Noble Drew Ali's feet. In Masonry, there are several different degrees or steps that one can advance to that are signified by the position of the feet. In this case, the position of the feet is known in Masonry as standing in a square. The square explained by the Mason is an angle of 90 degrees, and it forms the fourth part of a circle. This is the same position that has been adopted by the Moorish Science Temple while performing their prayers. No, just see again. Check something. Just check something. Let's see. One day he was bringing forth the tools for work, and he said, "These tools remind me of the ones we handle in the workshop of the mind, where things were made of thought, and where we build up character. We use the square to measure our lines, to straighten out the crooked places of the way, and to make the corners of our conduct square." That's why Noble Drew Ali was standing on the square. Noble Drew Ali wasn't standing on the square because he's a Mason and any BS like that. That's a lie in order to sell the idea that he's the Mahdi. When everybody knows the prophet is Noble Drew Ali and everybody else is a messenger. But everybody wants to play prophet. Everybody wants to be the man, jealous of his fame and nobility. Instead of them getting down with the program so people could get saved, they want to play games with people. Right. They're going to play their game. And there's going to be, not only are they going to play their game, but keep in mind, we use the square to measure our lines. Right? We use the square to measure our lines, to straighten out the crooked places of the way. To straighten out the crooked places. and to make the corners of our conduct square. So the corners of the conduct being square is why the conduct is right and exact. That you see Noble Jwali, you know that's the prophet. It's not going to be some, I wonder if, or whatever like that. The masonry thing is infused. This is not a Masonic thing. You know, Noble Jwali copied from Masons to start what he did. That's a fiction. The Masons are the ones who you call the black leaders. Those are the ones that are the Masons, not Noble Jwali. The Masons are the ones that were secretly working with the European while telling you kill the white man and all that BS. When they're working with the European. Why? Because they're going to push you to the 14th Amendment, which is going to grant them their little privileges that they get. The privileges that they get, the benefits, that's the payoff for selling you out. And the benefits are going to be they're going to get on certain lists, and they're going to get a star, and they're going to be able to do 80 movies, and they're going to be able to, you know. It's all orchestrated. But don't get caught up in the orchestra. Recognize that the music the orchestra is playing, it comes from the Moors. It ain't their stuff. It's your stuff. Now you thought was theirs, so you abandoned it when it's yours. And that was the whole point of Noble Jwali. Bringing everything back to you. Bring it all back to you. So you have no excuse. But, you know, people want excuses. So like we said, the 5 of you out there who got the message, study, study, study. So you can put this stuff together. Because they've been playing games with you. And you can't afford it anymore. Because it's your babies people are eating. It ain't, you know, it's your babies they're finding rolled up in mats and all that stuff. They ain't finding anybody else's children all messed up. It's yours. So the ones who want to save themselves know that it's about knowing the truth about your nationality, your birthrights, that we are Moors and we are the indigenous people, so we have to take some responsibility and handle our affairs. Because ain't no white man coming to save you, ain't no black guy coming out the clouds to save you and all that stuff, black gods and all that. You're going to save yourself. But that's only if you want to, you know, because you're here to force anybody to do anything. It's your $100 you dropped. So I was letting you know you dropped your 100. Instead of waiting for you to pass and then come by, pick it up, see, you know that there's a hole in your pocket. I'm just following you around all day, picking up all your 100s. And then you realize And you know that I robbed you. You know that I played you. But it's all right, you know. Can I buy those hundreds off you? Right? It's yours. You got played out of it. Go back and reclaim it, or you won't have it. And we'll be going to give anybody no $5,000 and all that stuff that they got it, so they're gonna give it to you and all that. Don't even fall for the okie doke. Don't even fall for the okie doke. Supreme honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Oh yeah, and another thing with this Mason stuff that they like to play games with. Another thing, remember that once the hand is showing, any type of pose, position, whatever, if the hand is showing, if you can see the hand, right? If the hands are visible, know that it's not keeping secrets. All the other one hand in the pocket and all that, you already know that they're hiding. You already know that they're hiding. So once you see hands, right? Baphomet, you see hands. Because Baphomet is Muhammad. And everybody knows, you know, that's prophet and all that, and, you know, peace be unto him. There's no negativity there. Because they portray it as something you thought was what you thought it was. You didn't research to find out what it was. And they played you. Because you just went around with everybody else, whatever they did. You're going to do that too. Didn't fact check anything. You were just talking crazy. So know that there was no secrets with Drew Ali, and he even said, I came to reveal everything. But I'm going to tell you some things that's going to turn your brain to water, because it's too much. But studying through knowing the truth about your nationality and birthrights, things get prioritized so you're not all over the place. Right? Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to all the mothers. And honors to all the Moors, wherever you're at. Study, study, study Islam.